choice. So I just want to make a little freehand alteration. Okay, so I still have that U curve. Okay, so that is that. So everything I have here is going to serve as the yoke of this dress, as you can see. So everything right here is serving as the yoke of this dress. Now the next thing we want to jump into is the tightening of the upper bust, where we have the yoke. So for the tightening of the upper bust, on this line and on this line, I'm going to come in from here to here by 0.5, and from here to 0.75 3/4, and from here to here another 3/4. So like I always say, if you have been following us on this channel, you'll notice that the tightening is always 0.75, and it works for almost everybody. So that is the tightening, and this is what I'm going to cut off. So this particular that I have right here, you can see the neckline is running right into the armhole. So I'm not going to replace this dart, because many a times I get these questions, why did you not replace the dart and all that. So you need to note when your dart is going to be replaced and when it's not going to be replaced. So since it's running into the armhole, what we have right here on the armhole takes care of the dart, okay? And we sew our yoke accordingly. All right, people, it's time for us to talk about what we have on the underbust. So to tighten your underbust for all sizes, this is the underbust line. You'll be taking your tape around your underbust very firmly. Whatever figure you have, divide it by 4. And place your tape on the center front. This is the center front. For me, I have 8 3/4, and I make a mark. And what is remaining here is about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to impute 0.25 or 1/4, and the rest of 1.25 or 1 1/4, I'm going to impute it on that point. So I contour my underbust, placing my pattern ruler like this. From that point to the bust point, you can see how I place my pattern ruler. And if you do it like this, you actually get this dress. So I'll come from here to the waistline, and I'll come from here back to the underbust line. So all of this, I'm going to cut them out right away, because we don't need them. And the dart right here has been replaced at this point. Remember, the dart we have right here is 1.5, and coming back here we have the replacement of the 1.5. So as it stands right now, we are done with the front bodies. So what we have here is will be cut on fold. So when we are cutting it, is going to be cut on fold, and what we have here will be cut 2 times on the fabric. All right, so coming over to this particular back piece, the first thing that we are going to create is the neckline. The neckline we have right here, you can see that is 1.5, and I'll come in from here by the 1.5 and make a mark. So I'm going to create my neckline, because I actually want this neckline to come down a little. So I will create, although it all depends on the kind of neckline, okay, you are making. It's your choice, it's your design. If you actually want the back to be open, or you want the back to have a button, so I will just advise you make the back come down by 2.5 inches, okay? So you'll be able to put a button loop to that point. So from there, I will connect with my pattern ruler to that point. Can you see that? So that is what we are going to have for the back of this dress. So, but if you want to continue with a yoke, I'm going to give you 2 ways you can approach this. If you want to make a yoke, that is a back yoke for this, it means you will have a yoke at this point. This is the button loop, and then you can create your yoke from this point. We'll measure what we have on the front, where the first yoke is going to start from the chest line. Here I have 1¾ so I'll come off from here at 1¾ and make a mark, and then connect my back yoke. So it's all your design and your choice. I'm connecting my back yoke to the center chest line. So what we have right here is the yoke for the back. Can you see that? That is the yoke for the back. Remember, this is the line of our contour line, and when you're adding your seam allowance continues at this point. So since we have a yoke there, I'll simply extend my dart line, so I'll be able to cut this as B1 and this as B2, and we are done with this pattern. So all we need to do now, all right people, so this is what we have on our pattern, and this is what I expect you to have if you are making exactly this style we have on the thumbnail. So I'm going to cut my pattern. Like I said, I'm making this video so that beginners can follow up accordingly. Okay, so I'm cutting on the neckline, and I'll cut on the shoulder seam line. I'm also cutting on the armhole line. I'm going to cut on the sides. Okay, so I cut on the waistline, and this is it. Remember, this is the contour line. I'm going to cut off the contour line. Like I said, the human back is not as straight as this. So this is what we have on the back. I'm cutting off the yoke. This is the yoke for back, and then I will now cut off what I have for the back pattern. I'm cutting it to this point, and I'm going to cut to this point. So this is what we have on this pattern, as you can see, and this is the yoke that will be attached to it. So if you are sewing this dress, you'll be adding your seam allowances of 1 inch on the zipper, 0.5 inch on the side, 0.5 inch on this and on this to attach this and this together, and 0.5 inch on the armhole to sew your sleeves, and 1 inch on the side to sew this back and the front. I want you to also note that we are cutting these 2 times because we have a zipper, and we are cutting 2 times of this. Okay, that is for your men bodies. The lining will also be cut 2 times. That is 4 of this, 4 of this, and 2 of this, because this one does not have a lining. So I set the back piece to aside, and the way it is, we are done with it. So I'll go over to the front bodies to cut. So I'm cutting the front bodies from the neckline which I created, and this is the center front. I cut through the center front, I cut through the waist line, I cut through the side, and then cut through the bust accommodation and return back to my armhole. So I'm actually taking my time to show you how to cut this, so you will actually know what we are doing here. So this is the yoke for the front, okay, which you are going to sew with your illusion mesh. So now I would want to cut my waist dart. I believe you are seeing where I'm cutting from to the bust point. Please don't cut it out completely, and from here I'll take it back to the bust point. This is, I take off this. So it's time to close my bust dart, and in closing my bust dart, this is where I cut to close my bust dart, and then I will apply my adhesive at this point to close my buzz dart. You can see where I'm closing my buzz dart. So once buzz dart is closed, next is to cut what we have on the yoke line. This is the yoke line. You can see the red line is the yoke line. So I've detached my yoke, and then the upper bust contour line is going to be cut accordingly. So this is it, and I take off this. So this is what you have at the front pattern, as you can see. And the back pattern comes in. You can see the bust that we closed right now. You can see how it matches up accordingly with the back. You can see they are all matching up. So this is what we have on this pattern, and that is how this pattern is made and how you are going to cut and add your necessary seam allowances. So for the center front, we are cutting on fold, and for the side we are cutting 2 times, and this we are cutting 2 times. So whatever you cut on the fabric, that is what you are going to cut on your lining to sew as well. So I'm going to make the bow. So the bow is very simple. The bow attached to the dress. I come with 2 plain squared pepper. So you determine the actual length and width of your bow. Your bow is going to be in a rectangular form. That is to say the length will be a little longer than the width. So the first bow, you are going to tack it after sewing at the center, and it will be placed on a straight course like this, okay, by the side. After you have finished sewing, it will be placed like this. And the second bow, you are only going to pleat in the edge of the width of the squared bow, okay, like this. So you can see me forming the, I just want to form it the way, can you see that? So this is it. So the first one forms a bow attached like this, and the second comes like this from the center front, okay, from the center front line as it is on the thumbnail. It comes in like this. So I believe you understand what I'm trying to illustrate right here. So for the forming of a bow, that is not a problem. After forming your bow, sewing your bow, all you need to do is to attach, sew it at the center front with your needle and thread. So this is how we come to the end of this tutorial today. I believe you learned a lot from this tutorial. So like I said, if you are a beginner, you will find it difficult to understand what we are doing right here on this channel. So I will advise you click on the link below to join us in our beginners drafting and sewing classes, okay? So thank you for coming, and see you in the next video. Bye.